hello and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Well, I have the pleasure and the honor of taping my program right here in Westborough, Connecticut at the Valley Shore Community Television Station, and I have the extra pleasure of having the executive director here today as my guest. His name is Chuck Lewis. He's been here before, and I know that you always enjoy getting to hear from him, and we'll get to hear all about how the station's doing and all that great news that I know that you're interested in hearing about. So Chuck, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Deborah, for having me. I appreciate this.
It's a pleasure to have you back. Thank you for spending time with us.
Yes, my pleasure.
Well, like I always like to do in the beginning of the program is introduce the guest to the viewer. So why don't you take us back into your background?
I have approximately about 40 years of, I'm dating myself now, about 40 years of television production background. I came from a commercial video film production house back in the 90s. Spent 10 years producing local corporate videos and commercials and television shows. And then I did a short stint with the Weather Channel. I produced a program called The Weather Classroom for them out of Atlanta, Georgia. And then I crossed over into the world of education and decided I had, my wife was an educator and I saw how much she enjoyed it. And I decided I've got this wonderful passion for digital arts and making films and television productions, and believe it or not, schools and colleges across Connecticut decided that that was an important course to be taught in the schools. And so I landed a 10-year career at Manchester High School and developed a wonderful video film production program there. Wonderful success stories from a lot of those students that came out of that program, working at networks like CNN. And then I went on to Haddam Killingworth and spent 20 years teaching film journalism courses at Haddam Killingworth, and then did a short stint at Middlesex Community College. Also, a lot of wonderful success stories from the students that took my courses. Many of them have gone on to more successful careers than mine, but I guess that's one of the things that makes education or a teacher such a you know, it may not be a high-paying career, but it's certainly a very dignified career. That the greatest gift that I have is the success stories that I have from my former students. I'm reminded of a young lady who reached out to me via email. I had her approximately 10, 12 years ago, and she announced to me that she had won 2 Emmy Awards for producing a show on Apple Television, a very popular show called Ted Lasso, which was won many Emmys. I also hear from students that are journalists and anchor persons for news networks like CNN. I have a young lady who just reached out to me who's an anchor at a station in San Francisco, an NBC affiliate, and she's doing the anchoring for a local. And those students all started kind of a grassroots program like what we have here at Valley Shore TV. So I've enjoyed it. It's been a great run, and now I'm in the phase where I'm basically promoting it in a more of a semi-retired aspect of my life, where I act as a part-time executive director of this wonderful nonprofit known as Valley Shore Community Television.
And why did you decide to leave education and start this television station?
Well, I actually started this before I left education. It was a couple-year process. Valley Shore TV was originally a Comcast-run community access that was located in downtown Clinton, right on Main Street in Clinton. And then while I was teaching at Haddam Killingworth High School, one of my other responsibilities was overseeing the educational access station, which is Channel 18, which can also be seen by our viewers that have cable, Comcast cable. And my students produced a lot of content for Comcast Channel 18. And we were one of the first stations in Connecticut, cable access stations, that we produced so much content that we actually had 24/7 programming. And I guess we caught the attention of some of the executives at Comcast Cable, and they said, hey, would you like to you're doing such a great job on the education access side, would you like to take over the community access channel? And so it went through a couple years of going through this multiple steps, talking to folks at Public Utility Regulatory Authority, getting their permission, getting local towns and their officials to buy into the idea that we would create a nonprofit and give this station back to the community, basically, and let it be run by the community. So hence the evolution of Valley Shore TV, which happened in 2013. Goes way back to 2013. And so the wonderful aspect of it is what I did is I actually started taking students that had gone on to college. I kind of planted the seed in high school, but they went off to college and majored in careers in television and film production. And then over the years, a number of them have stepped from their college education into their first job here. And I've hired them to run and work at the Valley Shore TV. And so it's been a really interesting, it was kind of a natural progression of it for it to happen. So back right the year of the pandemic, which we all try to push back, we don't want to remember those years. That was the year I decided to retire and put more energies and focus on, really developing and into this wonderful studio into all it is today and doing wonderful things here. So I miss the education side, but we still do it in a small way. Valley Shore TV, behind the scenes, you can't see here today, but we have a lot of young people, students, for all different kinds of backgrounds in schools and programs that come here and volunteer to run our cameras, to run our audio, to switch. They learn all the aspects of television production. So in a way, we're still doing it, but it's a little less formal and more of a hands-on opportunity. So it gives these young people direct hands-on opportunities to be part of something bigger than us, and that's the behind-the-scenes development of a television program.
Many people will not have heard of Valley Shore Community Television right here in Westbrook by Water's Edge. What can be done to change that? How has it been to get the word out that it exists?
Well, that's the challenge. In fact, I have many sleepless nights and a lot of conversations about how we can. The television landscape has changed a lot over the years. People are cutting the cord, and when people cut the cord, that kind of hurts our audience because that audience has direct, access to our programming via cable channels 18 and 19. Over the last couple years, we've probably lost 35% of those viewers, people that have cut the cord. And that has a direct effect on us as well too, because when they cut the cord, the subscriber income that's paid to Comcast, a portion of that is given to us for operating funds to operate the studio. And so those have also been shrinking over the past few years as people cut the cord. Streaming television is evolving. It's the new thing. But what we've done, we've changed with that technology change. We actually have the ability to stream. We have 3 apps that people can download to their phone or to their televisions, Apple TV, Roku TV, just to name a few. And those apps will take you directly to our station and all of its programming and all the video content that we produce. So it gives anywhere in the world that can be seen. It doesn't have to be in our backyard or in our community. It can be seen anywhere in the world, or even to our webpage. vsetv.com, you go to that webpage and you can actually go to live streaming and see all of the content, the wonderful content like your show, for instance, that's being produced. It will air tonight live on the channel, and so you can go to that. Even if you don't have cable, you're able to see it. But the challenge, as you just mentioned, is how do we get the folks that don't have cable to find us? There's a variety, there's a lot of choices out there right now for streaming, and many of us are familiar with a lot of them. Paramount TV, ESPN, HBO. There's so many different streaming options out there right now for people to choose from. Many of them are producing a lot of wonderful content, but none of it's local. And that's one of the things that we bring to the community. We're producing a lot of what I call hyper-local content of interest to our community. Programs like yourself that highlight artists, writers, all kinds of unique people that have a story to tell that come right from our community that often don't get highlighted in a lot of these national networks. We've watched our newspaper shrink over the years. So it's important that we keep a pulse on our community. A good way to keep a pulse on our community is through what we produce and what we offer here. But getting the word out. So in fact, just before this taping here today, I met with a group of producers that are very interested and creating an ad hoc committee that works with how to develop public relations with our community so they know where to find us, even if they don't have cable anymore. So we're making a big effort in the next, it's one of my goals for the next year, to push a lot of energy into that, working with this committee, this ad hoc committee, which is basically going to be made up of producers like yourself, how we can better promote ourselves so that we can get the viewers to follow us and see the wonderful content that we're producing. So one of the investments we made just recently, we're testing the waters, is we just bought some, unfortunately, you being a nonprofit, we had to pay for this. We used to get it for free, putting our program guide in the newspaper so that people know that picked up that newspaper, whether it's the Harbor News or the Clinton Recorder, they can find what programs are running and when and where to find us. So we've invested over $3,000 in the last 2 months to promote our programs and all the good things that are going on here. So that's just that's just the beginning, but there's so much more that we're going to do. We're going to, there's a lot of community events going on in your backyard in Clinton, the Bluefish Festival, all the Christmas festivals are taking place. We need to get a presence there and reach out to the community and say, here we are, here's what we have. It might be just a handshake and give them a chip clip that has the VSE TV logo on it, or a magnet, a refrigerator magnet that has the logo where they can find us for this wonderful local programming. So there's all kinds of things being developed in to advance the wonderful things that are going on here, and so that the community is more aware of what we are, even if they don't have cable access in their homes.
Okay, let's hold that thought and take a break. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You're tuned into Arts and Entertainment. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you for being here. And as always, I hope you're enjoying the show. My conversation continues on with Chuck Lewis of the Valley Shore Community Television Station based in Westbrook, Connecticut. And Chuck, what I didn't want to forget, what you mentioned briefly, is the website, vsctv.com. What will the viewer find when they go there? Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff going on that website. First of all, it takes them to, first and foremost, it takes them directly to two things that are very important to them. They can find our live streaming, which means the same signal that's going out on cable, they can access that through the website and see the actual programming, which is 24/7, all the programs that we have. And the bigger thing that's going on there, you could hit or miss. You might miss a program that, oh geez, I saw this wonderful interview, Jane Fonda from the Kate, and I wanted to see that, but I missed it. It aired last night. But lo and behold, we have what we call a video vault, or more commonly known as the video on demand. You can go in there and scroll through that and find any video that's ever been produced in this video. It doesn't have to be streaming live on our station. You can find it and access it right at that point and watch it on demand. In the comfort of your home, anywhere you are, on the road, from your phone, anywhere you want, you can access. So there's a lot going on. But also importantly going on, that if you're a community organization and you have an event that you want to promote, you're doing a fundraising event, you're a nonprofit organization, or you have a community event going on in your community, there's a form there you can complete.
You send that via that form, goes right back to our email address, gives you the email how to access it, and we'll promote that event once you fill out that form and give us all that. So it's a community, think of it as a community bulletin board, which is often underutilized. There's so much of that. And I'll tell you why it's often utilized is because we have programming 24/7, but my wonderful access coordinator, Emily, finds holes in between programs where she can post that community bulletin board and get the word out about your upcoming event, and we're glad to do it for you. And it's all free. None of it, it's all free. The other thing that can happen there is you can sign up for free training so that you could be part of the behind the scenes crew or learn how to operate a camera and shoot your own video and then come back and learn how to edit that video. If you've got an event in the community that you want to videotape, there's forms there to access, and you can set up an appointment and be trained on how to use this equipment. So there's all kinds of opportunities for you. If you have an idea for a program, go to the website, and there's ways to sign up for that and sign up for free training, and we'll actually give you equipment for free once you've passed it and gone through the training of that equipment. It's a very short couple-hour class, how to use all the equipment, and you'll be efficient enough to go out and shoot and get good audio, use a tripod, bring that video back into the studio, and then we'll also spend time with you and show you how to edit it, because that's truly where the magic happens, is in the editing of those programs. Or maybe you have an idea for a new studio production, like your wonderful show, and you want to produce a studio. And again, the thing I want to mention here is this is all free. For living in our community, I think of this facility often as a public media green space. I often refer to it as a digital town green. It's free and out there for all members of our community to have use access. And we live in a very digital society, so think of this as the production facility that can help you with all of that.
Your sponsors, I know you wanted to mention that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so with the decline of operating income this past year, we started having, kind of like PBS does, we have local area businesses that have stepped up in a very big way to help offset some of the operating expenses, especially the tremendous cost of electricity this year. I was just sharing with you before that, close to $10,000 a year it costs to keep the electricity and the lights on in this, well-lit, bright studio. But organizations like the Cuckoo's Nest, the Samuel Weiss Family Foundation, the Estuary Council for Seniors, Flanders Donut and Bake Shop, the Fishtail, Aqua Restaurant, Pizza Palace, Whalen Engineering, just to name a few, have all stepped up and have offered some sponsorship to help with keeping they're making donations, because we are a 501c3, so it's all a tax deductible donation, and they're helping us get through the challenging times of declining operating revenue to keep the doors open and keep wonderful shows like yours on the air. And there's many others, Coastline Brewing, Carl Wolf, Joe and Dolly Mazzetti, I can go on, the list goes on, but I'm very grateful to all of them for helping us keep the lights on, as I so say.
And you also wanted to talk about the shows that are produced here.
Yeah, so just a mention of some of the wonderful shows, and not to underscore the value of your show, but there's so many other great shows too, and I wanted to mention some of them. One of the wonderful things that we're doing now that's actually getting a lot of traction on our VOD, our video on demand, where people can come home and watch these after a day of work, is we do these selectmen updates. All the towns that we serve, Durham, Deep River, Old Saybrook, the selectman actually comes to the studio, or sometimes we go to their offices, and on a monthly basis they do a monthly update. They speak to the town, the residents of their town, and tell them what's new, what's going on, things to be aware of, upcoming events in their town, and those are getting a lot of views and traction. So that's helping us, because what happens, for instance, you go to the town of Durham, last month they had over 600 views of his video on demand, and what he does is and once it's recorded here, they put a link on the town website. He puts a newsletter out and says, hey, come look at my message to you, to the residents this month. So he's drawing that traffic to the website, and that website takes them back to the video on demand vault that we have. So we're housing the video here for them to see that video. So that they're doing a lot. But Here's a couple of the others: Slice of Life, Art of Poetry. The Connecticut VFW produces a show. Silver Linings, Vista Voices, which we're so grateful. We have a lot of Vista volunteers here today helping with the taping of this show. Pete Mazzetti's show, The American Revolution, Arts and Entertainment with Deborah Gilbert. It's just, the list goes on. We produced, Deborah, last year, over 500 programs were produced out of this studio. You know, and the thing is, cable access has gotten a bad rap over the years from shows like SNL. I love SNL, Saturday Night Live, but when they do their Wayne's World skit of the typical cable access shows, well, we've moved well beyond that. We have a lot of class act programs being produced that are really high quality productions like yours that have come a long way. And again, we're a local grassroots, and it's how to keep the community informed of all the good things going on in our community that often those stories don't get told. And that's why community access, I'm a firm believer, is so important to our community as this shrinking world, as things become more monopolized, larger and bigger in scope, and the small stories don't always get told like they should be. You know?
People may want to know about the government and the bills that you fought for to get funding for the station.
Yeah.
How do you do that? I mean, we are starting to run out of time, but tell us briefly what that's all about.
So very quickly, for the last couple of years, we've worked with state legislators to try to have the funding follow the changes that have taken place with the technology. So you heard me mention times, I sound like a broken record about the cutting of the cord. So that's how our subscriber income that keeps our doors open is come from cable subscribers. The folks that are using us and watching us via the internet, that's coming also from Comcast into their homes, the funding doesn't follow those subscribers. They can't add a fee on to the internet users. However, we've tried to convince lawmakers in Connecticut, and we've hired lobbyists to work for us on our behalf, and it's actually happening nationally. It's not just a Connecticut thing, it's happening nationally. All the other cable access providers across the country are dealing with the same thing. That why should these streamers be allowed to come in our homes? It's just it's the same wire, it's just a different platform, and not support local community access. So the fee is so small, it's minuscule. It's $1 or so a month that gets contributed from the cable access of subscribers that supports community access. And so all we're asking for is that the people that are streaming, and the tax revenue that's being generated by the Netflixes of the world and the HBOs and all the Peacocks and Paramount TVs that are streaming, that there ought to be some little small contribution to community access from them as well, the way it has been for cable subscribers over the years. And so we're working on that. It's been a battle, and I hope that, you know, the downside fear is that some of the smaller community access organizations may end up shutting down because they can't stay open. I'd like to think that, you know, organization has been well managed enough that I see a bright future going into the future. And one of my main jobs every day is I wake up every day figuring out a new way to help pay those electric bills on a monthly basis. So, but I have hope, and I'm never going to give up the fight.
Well, we have just a little bit of time left. Any closing thoughts for the viewer?
Yeah, one of the things I want to mention to the viewers, our partner station, which is Comcast Channel 18, is the educational side, which is housed out of Region 17 District, Haddam-Killingworth High School, produces an annual telethon every year. And I was lucky to be part of that when I taught at Haddam-Killingworth High School for 20 years. I've raised almost over $500,000 for local charities that are helping individuals in our community. And they have theirs is coming up again. It's going to be the 37th year that they've done their local telethon, and it's called Love from Lincoln. It's a group that supports children and families waiting for heart transplants, and it's all about raising awareness to help with those life-saving gift of donor donation. And that show is taking place, as I said, on our sister station, which is Comcast Channel 18, and it's happening on December 23rd from 8 to noon. And it's always a great show to see these young people put that live telethon together, and I would highly recommend it. And the last thing I want to do, this is a special announcement to all of your viewers. is that if you're not doing anything on the evening of Monday, December 15th, just a couple of weeks away, we'd welcome you to come down to an open house here at the studio from between 6 and 7 o'clock. And I would love to meet you all individually and give you a tour of our wonderful facility and tell you all that we're about. So that's happening open house for VSE TV Studio on Monday, December 15th from 6 to 7 p.m. And you're all welcome to join us.
Okay, well, I want to thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure and very informative.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
And I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. In case you need to reach me, I'm at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day today. I hope you've learned a lot. We need your support here at the station, so thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.